Dave Purcell still with a lot of work to do if he wants to keep his streak alive. Oof.
Right through the middle, 1, 5, and 9.
Wow, and Dave Purcell is well to the left. 10 leads for this skin, remember, right now. It's a $50 skin. Mike fills his strike with a 6. And almost the spare for Dave. Wow. Probably deserved it.
It looked like he was going to carry that 5.
There's the carryover with the 10 box for Mike Gusti. And just for good measure, another 10 box too. And that brings us to a timeout. We will have a $75 skin in the 6th box when we come back to this tight match at Pilgrim Lanes. Don't go away. A promotional consideration has been provided to WNDS by Romano's Pizza and Subs, located right here on Primrose Street in Haverhill, right next door to Pilgrim Lanes. Great place for lunch if you're in the area doing some bowling. The 6th box of Game 2 is worth $75. And also, Dan, we have a terrific battle going on right now for 2nd place. Mike Gusti has a bit of a cushion in 1st place, but only 8 pins separating the other 3 bowlers right now.
And one of those bowlers being Steve, and just dropped 9 pins, left the 10 pin. And Bruno gets a big break.
Bruno turns around like, yeah, I meant to do that.
Yeah.
I meant to do that. Steve on the single, and he's got it for the spare. Clutch shot right there for Steve Plant. But how about this one for Bruno Defeo? Missed everything.
Yeah.
Except the wood.
Luckily enough, the wood was there to stick around and come forward. But the carryover has been created with spares. Going to take a strike from one of these 2 bowlers. First, Dave.
Boy, he was in the pocket on the Brooklyn side, maybe a little full.
And then now Mike.
Same deal.
Oof.
Also on the Brooklyn side. So we'll have another carryover. Dave needs marks. This is a tough one. Can't make it happen. Nice spare, though, from Mike Gusti. Mike just keeps rolling along. 10 box for Dave Purcell. So another carryover. The 7th box will be worth $105. And this battle for 2nd place continues. Advantage to Steve and Bruno right now, though, because they have the marks up. Steve Plant kicks out the extra pins, 2 of them.
Almost got a strike out of it. That was, looked like it was right on the nose, right on the head pin full, but throws a slow ball, gives the pins time to mix, and then that ball looked like it was in the pocket more, and look at the leave he gets. A tough piece of wood for Steve out in front, though.
Yeah.
Have to come up on the right-hand tip, and then there's no guarantees.
Took a long time to study it, and he's got it.
Just up high enough to turn it and use that 2nd piece of wood. Go 2 in a row, and trying to make a run at Mike, who was leading.
Oh, Bruno couldn't convert it. Looked like he had made the shot. Put it where he wanted to, I think. But just nothing over there to get the 10 pin. So he'll take a 10. And the spare of Steve Plant leads for the skin, $105. Let's take a look at Bruno's miss.
Catches the wood like he wanted to, but just needs some help on the 10 pin.
Wow. Mike Gusti in command here for the moment. Just missed the head pin. He'll take 6 on his spare.
His spare is up there for the skin.
Oh, Dave Purcell needs marks, and he will have a spare leave here on the 5 and the 9. Possibility for another carryover here. Let's see if Dave can create it. No, he does not. misses everything. So give the skin $105 to Steve Plant. It's 9 skins for Steve. A 10 for Dave Purcell. More importantly than not getting the carryover, Dave cost himself what seemed like a certain spare there, and of course he is in 4th place right now. Only 7 pins between Steve and Bruno for 2nd. Bruno needs marks, gets a kick out on the 10 pin.
Steve is working on a spare, trying to increase that lead.
Takes 7. He'll be looking for his 3rd mark in a row in the triangle. Let's see what Bruno does with the 2, 4, and 7. Got it. Cleanly made, and that's a big spare for Bruno. He's got to do something better than what Steve does in every box.
Steve for the spare?
No. Well, this could get very interesting now. Mike Gusti is looking a little safer now in that number 1 spot with the open box by Steve.
Dave not out of it yet. He's at 183. He's going to have to put a mark up here, though, I would think.
This is a $30 skin here in the 8th. Dave Purcell in the pocket. How does that 5-pin stay up? And there's a strike.
Nothing standing up there.
Mike Gusti takes the skin with the strike. And would you believe, Dan, that is the first spare of the day for Dave Purcell. There's the strike for Mike Gusti. He's got 5 strikes today, Mike Gusti does. Dave Purcell had thrown 3 strikes. Those were his only marks until that spare. How many times have we talked about that? When you're throwing strikes and not spares, that's usually not a good thing.
Oh, strike for Steve.
Wow. $30 skin here in the 9th.
Couldn't have come at a more opportune time either. And just 3 pins on Bruno's spare by going through the middle. And that will cost him.
A double whammy for Bruno, getting just 3 and also watching Steve get the break on the strike. No, Bruno just a 5 box, and that's a tough pill right there. Big strike though for Steve Plant, and we'll take another look at it.
Took a while, but ball's in the 1-3 pocket. Doesn't look good here. But all of a sudden the 5 into the 9 and 8 and then into the 7 for the strike.
Mike Gusti on a strike.
One more chance for Dave to create the carryover, or it's going to be Steve's skin.
And it is Steve's, $30 more. Steve and Mike have virtually all of the skins, all but 1, in fact, that Dave Purcell won earlier in this game. There's a spare for Dave. He's trying to hang in there. $6 box for Mike Gusti, but I don't think it's going to cost him much. Here's the spare by Dave Purcell.
And this spare is keeping Dave alive. He's 16 pins behind Steve Plant.
He's probably going to need strikes, though, in the 10th. Oh, Bruno Defeo throwing that ball 1 box too late. Previous box, he had been working on a spare and filled it with just 3. $75 skin, the last skin of the day. Steve Plant filling his strike.
This would make it awful tough for Dave if he were to spare here on strike.
That's it.
Got it.
Boy, Steve's having himself a heck of a game here. Here's the strike by Bruno Defeo, which has him in the lead for the skin. Both these guys will stay up there now to fill their marks in the 10th. Bruno first. Well, actually, Steve went first. A surprise to all of us.
Batting out of order.
Now Bruno will go. A 142 for Steve Plant and a 2-game total of 251. And Bruno gets 9 on the strike for a 116 and a 2-game total of 230.